Has our experience improved with the Abxylute 1 month later?
Oh. So actually, it's more than a month that you've had this now.
I've had it for ages now.
The review went out about 4 weeks ago, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And so you've had it a couple of weeks before.
Yeah.
The Abxylute Handheld cloud streaming thing.
I didn't know what to call it either in the videos. I'm like, this is the Abxylute handheld streamy devicey thing.
It's a streamy devicey thing.
It is running Android.
Yeah. Okay, so your review, you actually did in 2 parts because you like to make Netflix documentaries about stuff.
It began to be I was editing it. I was like, this is like a whole episode on Netflix, so I need to cut this in 2.
If you've not watched them, you want to see his first impressions, there will be linked below or at the end or whatever.
Yes.
But you tackled it in 2 key points, and I guess it's best to kind of revisit in that way.
Yeah.
From the hardware, first of all, what it feels like in hand and how it behaves, to then actually what it's like streaming stuff.
Actually in use, yeah. And it's good because obviously I've been using this for quite a while now. You've got like fresh eyes on it.
Yes.
So this will be your first impressions and see if they kind of link up to what I experienced and felt.
Yeah, okay. So what does it do, first of all? Let's remind the people what it does.
So as we said, this is a streamy devicey thing. So basically,
it's a device that does streaming things.
It does that, yes. So you don't need anything else other than either like Game Pass, or like Nvidia GeForce Now, or maybe you've got Moonlight or Steam Link or PS5 Remote Play or Xbox Remote Play.
Yeah.
It's any kind of streaming, whether it's on your own network or not.
Yeah.
Depending on which way you're using it. But basically, it is just an Android device, so it's just an Android tablet-y phone thing.
It's actually just a phone.
It is, yeah. Android 12, I believe.
Yeah.
Or is it 13? I can't remember. Whatever the new one is. With their own kind of like UI on it. And then you go to the Play Store and you download the app of your choice.
Yeah.
And then you can just stream it without having to like have attachments for your phone or needing to spend out on like a big computer device like a Steam Deck or an Asus ROG Ally, like that kind of thing. This is like a more affordable entry into that.
So it's in the marketplace competing against things like the PlayStation Portal with the added advantage of being multi-platform.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's roughly around the same price point as the PS Portal, but this will let you stream your PC, Xbox, anything.
Okay.
Or if you've got none of that and you've just got a Game Pass sub, you could just use it that way.
Yeah. So it's got its uses. Can I grab it? Can I get hands on?
Yeah.
Because I want to see my first impressions. Okay. Now I've got to be fair. What's the price point?
It's about 170 quid to what, $200 and something, like low $200.
So it's actually competing with the PlayStation Portal almost exactly.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, here in the UK, it's what, £30 less than a PlayStation Portal.
There's some real issues. There's some real issues. I won't get into the streaming issue straight away. Okay.
Just go on the field. Ignore the game.
Okay.
Just feel the device. Ignore the screen.
The screen looks beautiful.
So this was my biggest point in the video, was the best thing about this is the screen. So this is a 1080p resolution and it's a 60 hertz refresh. So it is just an LCD screen.
It looks nice for an LCD.
It's nice and bright.
Yeah.
It's really clear. And obviously it's a 7-inch. And being 7-inch and 1080p means it's very crisp.
Yeah.
Like the resolution is lovely.
That's a lot of resolution for a small screen.
Absolutely. So the screen, which is one of the main reasons you're buying this.
Yeah, 100%.
As opposed to using your phone.
Yeah.
It's a 16:9 screen. Yeah. And the screen is lovely. Yeah. So that's one of the key 100%. Features here.
And it's the biggest part of it. I mean, it's the portal in which you're looking for. You like my pun there?
Yes, I like that.
So it looks beautiful. Ergonomics, I'm not sold on at all. I mean, it's got this kind of ABS plastic feel to it that's a little bit cheap.
Yeah.
The horns, I'd say medium to big size hands, same as you.
Yep.
I think if you had smaller hands, this would be all right.
It's just weird, isn't it? Because, I mean, I'm sorry, Abxylute, but you tout it as being superior ergonomics.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand it. I said in the video that it's too slim and thin for it to be very ergonomic, you know?
It's really super
very
thin. It's very
slim.
light, to be fair.
It's 470 grams, I think it was, or 430 grams, something like that.
That's nice for handheld.
Yeah, but this...
I was just going to say, these horns... they don't grip your hand enough, but they kind of get in the way as well.
Yeah.
Remarkably,
it's your only anchor. To hold the thing.
So I'm kind of pinching it a bit tight. I've pinched it so tight that I've managed to lock it, which is amazing as well. So that's gonna be fun when we try and load up Game Pass again, isn't it? Yes, it's super thin, too thin for me, I'd say.
Yeah, see, for me, I know you're just getting hands on. This is your immediate. You've just bought it. You've opened the box. This is how you feel. For me, I felt exactly the same. But after using it for a few hours, I did start getting used to it.
Okay, that's fair.
But immediately I was a bit like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah.
One thing I did quite like is the rounded shoulder buttons and triggers naturally feel quite nice, like up against your fingers. Do you know what I mean? They're not like stabbing into your finger or anything. Like,
that's really ergonomic. The shoulder buttons are nice.
How's that right stick?
Okay. Oh, God. The joysticks. What?
Oh, okay. Yeah, the joysticks themselves. Yeah.
Okay, so they've got like, anyone that uses a Nintendo Switch will know what these are. They're like Joy-Con style.
They are Joy-Con joysticks.
They're really small, nubbined.
Yeah, and what's bad about
weirdly long throw for something that's so small.
Yeah, well, the thing is because they feel that way when you're like this, but when you're playing and you compare it against a proper joystick, the proper joystick's bigger. And yes, it has more movement, but then it lends to more accuracy. These are Hall effect. So they are actually Hall effect.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're not going to get drift. But because they're so small and there's not actually that much throw on them,
do you know,
they're so jittery.
Now you said they're Hall effect. Do you know what I think they exactly remind me of?
What's
it's the Amberneck.
Yes.
The horizontal,
whatever
the latest one is RG.
The retro consoles, the emulators.
And they've got exactly the same. And their Hall effect, they may even be the same modules.
They probably are, yeah.
Really horrible. Just really horrible. There's no redeeming feature of those Joy-Cons
there's
at all.
Nothing about it. The only thing is that it's Hall effect, so
they'll last. But there's plastic friction against the side of the case, so you've got a horrible rubbing sensation as well.
It's not great.
Weirdly long throw for something that's so small, so they just feel skatey.
But yeah, and they're not accurate because there's not enough throw like a true joystick that it's very twitchy.
The face buttons,
they're backlit, by the way. Don't know if you'd noticed that. So if you
they are
backlit.
How much
you can change the color and the brightness. You can turn them off.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the fact that they were backlit because when you're playing in the dark,
quite cool.
You might want to see, a bit of backlit buttons.
Shoulder buttons, then they're nice.
Yeah.
How do I get out of this? Vasco's taking over. Okay, yeah. Oh, no. The D-pad. Oh, no.
Do you really not like it?
I like the fact that it's concaved.
Yes.
That's nice.
See, for me...
It's not crunchy, which is nice.
It's not crunchy. It's not seriously mushy.
No.
It's fairly free. And I think what I like about it is how flat it is. Like thin, but how much concave it is under your thumb.
It's better than most.
So,
it's better than some I've seen. It's not awful.
It's not great.
It's not great, no.
But I don't think it's a terribly bad D-pad, personally.
The thing I can't get over my first experience hand-on is just how uncomfortable it is.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. The screen looks way nicer than the rest of it. In fact, the screen is misselling it in many ways.
Yes,
it's so much more premium than the rest.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I feel like I'm being really negative because there's a place for this.
Yes.
It's just not for me.
No, and that's the thing for me too. It's not for me. I mean, really, it's hard wearing plastic.
Yeah.
It's not a fingerprint magnet.
Yeah.
The construction of the thing, it's not overly rattly or anything.
It feels tight.
It feels like it's well put together.
Yeah.
It's just, why did they choose Joy-Con joysticks for a start when there's definitely others available?
That are definitely better,
which we've seen in other Joy-Con alternatives for the Switch, And the placement of this, I don't overly like. Like, the inherent problem with asymmetrical joystick layouts is that there's not enough room to get to this.
Yeah, so you need a bit of a horn or a kick out. Like on the ROG Ally, it kicks out a little bit and rolls back. The Steam Deck, it kind of rolls down a bit more.
and they're parallel. Yeah. So
on a lot of the Pro Joy-Cons that we've seen for the Nintendo Switch, will have nice horns, so your wrists naturally kick out more.
Yeah.
And that means that your thumb can roll inwards and reach this one.
Yes.
This, because it actually rolls in, you're gripping with your little fingers more.
So the only way I found to work is to actually tuck my pinky under this horn.
So for more than an hour, you're going to start hurting your hand.
Yeah, it's luckily though, because it's so light, it didn't actually affect me that much for a long period of time.
100% a redeeming feature. It is incredibly light.
Yes,
I think for the price, it's not terrible. It's not, it's kind of fair. It's hard to get anything decent for under 200 quid these days.
Absolutely, yeah, for a bit of tech.
The screen looks great. The hardware definitely could be better ergonomics-wise. It could feel more premium, but I'm guessing it's aimed at someone who just wants a second device to casually play with, perhaps through like Steam Link or whatever.
Yeah.
Or maybe younger gamers, in which case those kind of more premium features will be wasted because they're just going to
Daddy's got the Asus ROG Ally or the Steam Deck, and little Billy gets this.
Yeah. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
That's how it comes across. Okay, software-wise. What was your lasting impression software-wise?
That I wanted to uninstall it.
Okay.
Someone said this in the comments, and I totally agree. And I think this is also the problem with Windows in terms of not having like a dedicated version for these handhelds, right? So as with Windows, when you've got these Windows PC handhelds, that is just the fully fledged Windows. It's not like a dumbed down, more easy to navigate version.
Like a big picture version.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the same with this. This is Android. I can't remember if it's 12 or 13, whatever the number is. And when you start it up, you have to spend like half an hour setting it up like a phone. It literally thinks it's a phone. And when it forces me to sign in with my Google account and stuff, and it's like, do you want to install your phone back up onto this?
No.
This is a phone.
No.
It's like, no, it's not.
Definitely not.
No.
Please, no.
No. So I had to go through all that rigmarole.
Yeah.
Once that's done, that's it. You're fine. And when you're actually in the UI, it's okay. Like I don't dislike their UI of Android that they've put on the top.
Once you get there.
Yeah, once you get there. Like it's okay. And then you've got the Play Store, obviously. You can go on there and download your apps and stuff. They've got the Essentials area.
Can you download Android games straight onto it and play native?
I must admit, people have asked in the comments, and I haven't tested that yet.
It's not something I'm particularly into.
I've never been a phone gamer.
But I'm guessing that's going to, if that's possible, that's going to be something that's going to quite appeal, especially to younger gamers or more casual gamers.
And I think we'll revisit that. So I feel like we need to just test a couple of popular Android games and try some emulation.
Yeah, emulation would be interesting.
And see how this handles that.
Yeah.
And we'll do that in another video.
Because when you look at that price point, again, I compared it to an Amberneck earlier.
There's Ambernecks that are around that price point.
There is. We looked at one recently.
Yeah, we have, yeah.
So if emulation actually holds up pretty well on it, then it actually suddenly has a place in the market that makes more sense.
Absolutely.
A more versatile emulator for under £200. Well,
yes.
For a screen that good, that's pretty good.
I'm expecting it not to do so well because it's a streaming device. It doesn't need power. You're just running basically a web browser and all it's got to do is put inputs in. And so with just going back to the software, it is a little bit janky.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like a little bit unresponsive. It's not very quick. Because it doesn't need to be because it's just streaming. But there we go.
Now, you've got Starfield open.
I do, yes.
I guess you're streaming that through Game Pass.
Yes, indeed, yes.
I must admit, I did have a quick look earlier.
Oh, yes.
My first impressions was, that's unplayable.
Yeah, I know. And in my video, the part 2, where we look at my experiences with this, and I go through the jitteriness, especially with the audio.
Yeah.
I was hoping that in different environments that might change. No.
No, it's got severe audio buffering issues. To kind of translate that to those who don't know, basically sounds like it's popping.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get this kind of stuttering sound. The equivalent of, like, visually when you're dropping frames and you're stuttering.
And that happens alongside the audio buffering.
Which is nice. I mean, at least they marry. But you get this audio buffering, and that happens even in, so like when you boot in Starfield and you've got that kind of ethereal string sound that happens.
It's lovely.
In that, it's like, it's popping and crackling all
the way through. It's like a remix. Yeah.
It's like a dance remix. So it's really, I've noticed that as I guess because I'm an audio nerd as well, like it really struggles with audio buffering. So
that's what made it unplayable for me.
Yeah.
I could deal with the odd frame drop.
Yeah, you're streaming a game. It's fine.
If the audio was spot on.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced better elsewhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I said this in the video, if this was my first ever experience, I'd be like, that's what I expected from streaming.
Yeah.
You know, maybe.
Yes, fair.
But I know that there's better out there in terms of the performance of the stream.
I need to show you something because this is really special. This is... firstly, where's the speaker?
It's on the front.
On the front.
On the front corners.
That's the audio popping up, so I've had the buffering issue. But also, the responsiveness of this is so great. Let me shoot the gun. I'll just do that again for you. It's so much delayed that I reckon I can shoot Andy. Ready? That's amazing. I've got enough time to take my hand off before it happens and shoot you with my finger gun.
It's ridiculous. Oh, reload. Yeah, the delay is really bad. Like the responsiveness there. And this is something that can really mess up games. Like we were playing Have a Nice Death earlier, weren't we? And that is the kind of game you need to have your inputs.
Oh, because it's all about timing and counters and dodges.
Exactly. So playing a game like that is unplayable. Now, I did find the audio stuttering, which is still apparent here, is mainly, I think we just saw some nice visual art.
That's what I was doing because I noticed it a minute ago.
Yeah.
It's
so it does get some like compression issues and stuff. Look at that. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yeah,
I don't know if
serious visual artifact problems.
Yeah, big artifact problems. I didn't experience the visual artifacts as badly as frame drops at my place. But Xbox Game Pass was the worst culprit here for this. Especially for the audio. Now, I'm going over to PlayStation and doing PS5 remote play. The audio was fine. Again, see part 2 video.
Okay.
But the delay of the input was so noticeable. I couldn't play Stellar Blade, and there was frame dips. So whilst the audio was still clear, visually you're seeing frame dips. I don't know why I keep saying drips.
Drips is fine. Yeah, we'll take
frame
drips. Yeah, don't worry. Drips.
And the inputs were delayed, which was frustrating.
More than that.
Not as bad as that.
I was going to say because
it's still unplayable. In my opinion.
That's almost a second, coming up to a second delay.
That's terrible. Yeah, this is like probably half, so like 500 millisecond.
Was there any use cases you came across where it was better?
Yes,
where it was playable.
Steam Link is the only thing that was good.
Remarkable.
Yeah. So Steam Link, where obviously my PC's running the game.
Yes. Okay.
Sending it to like through the router and then to this. So I'm remotely accessing my PC via Steam Link. This was way better.
Sorry, I missed something. Did you say you were using PlayStation Remote Play rather than stream? Like,
remote play. Yeah.
So the PlayStation was handling much in the same way Steam Links work.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So I was remote playing.
So it's not about the processing issue then?
No, because the PlayStation's playing the game and sending it through the network.
I wonder why Steam Link works so much better.
I've no idea.
That's really interesting. But what's nice is that it actually gives a really good use case for it.
Yes.
So somewhere we can actually recommend it.
And that's where I went with that video. That was the only way I could recommend it. I couldn't play.
I mean, obviously I watch all of your videos, so I know.
But yeah, I couldn't play Game Pass or PS5 remote play on this. It was unplayable for me. But Steam Link was good. The input there's still a bit of delay, I will say that. But it's way less, like much less. It's playable.
I can cope with a little bit, primarily because I don't play a lot of like FPS games. So like hair triggering, not that important to me. Games like Starfield are the kind of games that I play. I like story-driven games that are a little bit slower. We've talked about this in our podcast.
Yes, we have. Oh, plug.
So I can cope with a little bit. So the idea of streaming games that are a little bit slower, that's okay, as long as it's playable.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of how I expected streaming to be. This isn't my primary way of playing. This is a secondary way of playing.
Yeah, this is an accessory for when, I don't know, you want to be downstairs with your family, but still ignore them, but be present.
So basically you mean Christmas.
Yeah. You know, so they've been watching some rubbish on TV and you want to continue playing whatever, then this is a good way if you've got a good rig and a good router and internet connection.
I mean, you have to say that. Again, here we've got quite a good internet connection at the studio. Just to give you an idea, it's a 100 meg parallel connection, so 100 meg up and down. And upload is just as important as download with streaming games.
Absolutely,
You've got an even better connection at your place. So we were both testing it in like pretty good,
ideal
scenarios. There's a lot of people that don't have that, in which I would imagine they're really going to struggle with this.
And I think that's the problem with the PlayStation Port as well.
Yes.
You know, and that's where that fails hard.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't want to be overly negative, and I don't want to end it on a negative. There is scenarios where you can recommend this. Like you say, Steam Link seems to work really well.
With Steam Link, I started forgetting about the problems.
And that's it. That's the ideal
Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, oh, this is fun. You know, like no stuttering, no audio issues. The responsiveness was good enough for me to actually enjoy playing on the thing.
And I think if you're a more casual gamer, or if it's for maybe someone in your family who's younger and they're not like as fussed on it, or they play more casual games, then do you know what? It's hard to beat something that's offering this much for that little price.
Absolutely.
Screen, that's good. Some objectively pretty good hardware. It's just not perfect.
Yeah.
Software definitely needs improving. We can just see Artifact happening after this. Like, it's taunting me with how bad it's coping with this. But clearly, way more work needed in this kind of cloud gaming, this streaming kind of scenario. This is not ideal.
Especially when we've tested other things like the Steam Deck, which just in the same situations, in the same games, in the same way of streaming, it's night and day difference.
Yeah, and I mean, the only argument I would put to that is that this is half the price of a Steam Deck.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's it.
It sits in line with the more expensive Ambernex styled emulators.
100%, yeah.
If this can handle decent emulation, which I hope for its sake it can, then it's got a really great place with a much broader audience. But whether it does or not, we've not tested. It's not something that we're interested in testing with this particularly. But anyway, I guess that kind of gets to the point.
It does, yes. Of would you buy one, AJ?
So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Do you know what? I was hoping it would be better because I was actually tempted to keep it, but I think we're just going to sell it.
Well, I think I do want to trying basic emulation on it.
Yeah.
And try a couple of Android games just to see.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go in any rush to test that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just stick around. Maybe I'll cover it. But
absolutely.
In the meantime, you can take it home and enjoy.
On my internet connection at home, that's going to be amazing. Tell them what to do. Tell them where to go. What you need to do
is like this video. If you like this video, subscribe, because why not?
Oh, you should subscribe. Some exciting things coming.
Oh, yeah.
Or have happened. I'm not sure when this goes out.
When this goes out, they've probably already happened. So make sure you go back and look at what we've just been covering.
It was exciting.
It was very exciting. But yeah, and then you need to become a member.
Become a member, you get access to these videos early, and you get to join our special Discord for 128 Gaming members.
Where all the special people are.
They are very special.
Just like us.
Just like us. And there'll be another video smashed between our faces.
Oh, yes.
Maybe that exciting thing that we were just talking about.
Probably.
Will probably be there.
It's probably going to be on every video.
Forever.
Watch us.
We love you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.